It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Sproles, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Eric Frandsen in studio, Jason Walker in transit. We'll find out why and what's going on, where he's been today. Pretty exciting day for Jason, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. We'll update you on what's taken place in the 4A boys soccer playoffs. Semifinal games happened earlier today, both involving Region 11 teams. Who's advancing, if anyone, to the championship game tomorrow at America First Field? We'll discuss that coming up. Interesting study that was done by a company called Wallet Hub, which they look at all kinds of weird stuff, and they release things almost every week or every couple of days. But they did a recent study about, where are the best cities for basketball fans. And so take a look at that. And where does Salt Lake City appear on that list as an NBA town? But it also breaks it out by college towns as well. So is Logan on the list? Where are they? How do they compare to other school or other cities in the Mountain West Conference where their schools reside? So we'll take a look at that a little bit later on as well. And some Utah State basketball news on their coaching front, adding a member of their staff, though the staff is not appear to be full yet, so there's still a position available. And yesterday, the All-NBA teams were announced. Did Lauri Markkanen make an All-NBA team? He made the All-Star game. He was a starter, but did he make an All-NBA team? We'll discuss and debate and reveal a little bit later on here on the program. But first and foremost, a pretty exciting day in Harriman at Zions Bank Stadium. Jason Walker was there calling the play-by-play on Cache Valley Daily and 107.7 KLZX for both the Green Canyon Wolves and the Mountain Crest Mustangs involved in the 4A boys soccer playoffs. And Jason making his way back north after a very exciting day, calling some soccer earlier today, Jason.
Yeah, it was certainly a pretty good day for me. Got up nice, bright and early, about 6:30. I haven't gotten up that early in a while, not since I went to Sacramento. But yeah, certainly some good games. Green Canyon and Mountain Crest coming away with wins. Green Canyon getting the 2-0 win. Mountain Crest getting a 3-1 win, although they didn't get that third goal until about 15 seconds left in the game. So a bit unexpected. I was wondering if either of them were going to advance. I wasn't too surprised when Green Canyon advanced. They were playing an 8 seed. Well, that 8 seed was the team that beat the number 1 overall seed. But Mountain Crest certainly a bit of a surprise, especially after Mountain Crest went down early on.
Yeah, and listening to your call today, the Green Canyon scored about a little more than midway through the first half, and then their second goal was not that far behind. That was pretty exciting. Couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was about 17 minutes and change left in the first half when they got their first goal. Pretty nice goalie maker run into the box. There was a pass, a nice header. Beat the goalkeeper and nestling the header right underneath the crossbar. And then the second one, I'm trying to remember the second one. I think that one was a little more hectic, and a player just managed to kind of bury it in the back of the net.
Goalie, right?
Yeah, so it was, it ended up being back-to-back goals in about a 4-minute span for Green Canyon, and that ended up being the difference.
And so let's keep talking about Green Canyon in their game against Dixie. Obviously they pitched a shutout, so solid defensive play, solid play by the keeper for the Wolves today.
Yeah, he wasn't tested a ton. I think Green Canyon, their defense has just been spectacular. They've pitched a shutout the entire playoffs for their game, and obviously keeper doing a good job. Brian Scott had a couple of good saves, but the defense did a really good job of not making him have to do too much. It's not like he was sitting back there reading a newspaper, but the whole defense and goalkeeper combined, of course, Dixie didn't really have too many really, really good opportunities. And so Green Canyon, they've not allowed a goal yet. They beat their first opponent. I want to say it was Pineview 8-0. Then they go 1-0 against Ridgeline and then 2-0 against Dixie. So they could very well not give up a goal the entire playoffs, which would certainly be impressive, for a team, especially they're the 5 seed. They weren't expected to be to get this far.
And interesting, just to they played the upset at Ridgeline to advance, and that was close back and forth over the course of the season between those two schools, and then they get a bit of a gift with Dixie pulling off an upset, and so it's been an interesting path that's been laid out for Green Canyon to get to that championship game tomorrow night. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, you could maybe say they had a bit of an easy path. I'd say, they beat the Region 11 champion on their way there. I know Dixie, you get to face 8 seed Dixie, but Dixie also beat the number 1, seed in the tournament. So maybe you could say you got a good draw if you're Green Canyon, but they beat the teams in front of them and have done so in a fairly impressive fashion so far. So I'd say they certainly have a chance in this championship game.
And now let's talk about the later game, the second game that took place today. It was Mountain Crest as the lower-seeded team in this case, going up against Crimson Cliffs, a battle of Mustangs. And it was Crimson Cliffs who struck first. And how long? What was the time there between Mountain Crest? They were able to tie it up going into halftime. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the penalty happened was like 31 minutes and change. So a little less than 9 minutes into the game, a penalty was called. And I'll be honest, I was staring right at the play. I wasn't 100% sure what the referee called for a penalty. I don't know if it was an inadvertent handball or maybe a kind of a soft foul. I wasn't ever really 100% sure what he called the penalty for. There wasn't too much complaining, so it must have been fairly obvious to the players that there was a penalty. The Crimson Cliffs converts that penalty, and so from 31 minutes and change until about 4 minutes and 40 seconds, so, about, 26, 27 minutes thereabouts, so roughly a half hour, Crimson Cliffs was up. They were playing pretty well. They looked like the better team, and I was beginning to think, hey, Mountain Crest looks like they're in trouble because they're one minor misstep away from going down 2-0. With the way they were playing, with the way Crimson Cliffs was playing. And like I said, just under 5 minutes to play, there was a set piece. They were about 30, 40 yards away, lofting the ball into the goal, or into the goal box. The ball kind of bounces around. The keeper's off his line. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was Dallin Anderson. That's who it was. He just had the ball right in front of him. It was a bit of a stretch, but he managed to kick the ball in towards the net. Didn't have to kick it past the keeper, just kicked it into the roof of the net, and managed to get a kind of a lucky goal in some ways. Obviously, he found himself in the right place at the right time to get that goal. There was a bit of controversy. The refs had to confer for a second to talk about maybe if there was a player who was offside and involved in the play. Not Dallin Anderson himself; he wasn't offside, but maybe somebody else. But then the referees decided to let the goal stand. We went into halftime 1-1, which was absolutely massive, I think, for Mountain Crest to get some momentum back in a game that they were losing pretty badly, at least in terms of just the on-field play.
And then after halftime, it didn't take long for them to have an advantage in the game.
Yeah, it was a crazy goal. Wasn't really expecting it. Yeah, it was like 3 minutes, maybe a little less than 3 minutes into the into the second half. Michael Hale was he's the center back, and they earned a free kick off of some random foul, basically at midfield. So center back comes up, and his job is to just loft the ball into the box and hope something happens. Try and basically put it right on the penalty spot. Maybe somebody gets a header or a scramble for the ball, and you put it in, kind of like the first goal, but from a little further away. And I mean, based off what he was probably trying to do, he actually didn't hit it to the spot he was looking for, because it went probably a little closer to the keeper than he maybe would have wanted, because it was put in a place where the keeper could just catch it, but the keeper misplayed the catch, and it managed to just squirt through his arms and go into the goal. So Michael Hale had himself about a 60-yard goal 3 minutes into the second half. So, I mean, in a span of about 7 minutes of game time, he had halftime in between that, but in a span of 7 minutes of game time, Mountain Crest went from looking like they were going to lose that game pretty bad to all of a sudden they're up 2-1 and had all the momentum in the world.
And then it was just listening to your second half. It was Crimson Cliffs trying to get back into it and got a little bit more desperate as the game went on. And then in the closing seconds, it just kind of shifted quickly, and Mountain Crest adds some insurance.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to Mountain Crest. I mentioned in the first half they weren't playing very well. They were, match, even outplaying Crimson Cliffs. Mountain Crest gets outplayed in the first half, but they outplayed Crimson Cliffs in the first half, and that led to them, forcing Crimson Cliffs from that desperation. They didn't allow an equalizer. They didn't allow any spectacular chances. It's not like there weren't any chances. Crimson Cliffs had a couple of opportunities. But, yeah, in the final minute, Crimson Cliffs, in absolute desperation, they're throwing numbers forward. They don't have very many guys back in defense. And then Mountain Crest, they're kind of built for some of these counterattacks and just clearing the ball forward and letting their offensive players chase after it. And in one of those cases, Max Carpenter, he chased one down. There weren't enough defenders back. It was basically like a 2-on-2. 2 defenders, 2 attackers, and that is not great numbers for a defense, even though it's even. Carpenter got a shot on goal. It went off the post, and then Sam Hunt went in and chased it down for the Poachers' goal. So it was insurance. It happened with like 16 seconds left. So it wasn't like Crimson Cliffs was going to score anyway, but that one, that might as well have been the final whistle, because that was when all the Crimson Cliffs players, collapsed onto the field in despair, and all the Mountain Crest supporters absolutely went ballistic, knowing that, hey, we're about to go to the championship game.
Well, it looks like that's the third game in a row for the Mustangs to go to win a game scoring 3-1. And so it seems to be their magic number. But looking back over the history of Green Canyon and Mountain Crest, these two teams will face each other tomorrow night at the site of what used to be known as Rio Tinto Stadium. It's called now America First Field. But those two Region 11 teams will square off again for the third time this year. And it looks like they split their regular season in the 2 times that they faced each other. Green Canyon getting the first one 4-1, and then Mountain Crest shutting out the Wolves 2-0 when they played about 3 weeks later.
Yeah, and I was able to watch the second of those games, and so I was actually surprised because I went into that game preparing, thinking, oh yeah, Green Canyon beat them 4-1 in the first matchup. So Green Canyon probably win the second one, and I just saw Mountain Crest, beat Green Canyon physically. Mountain Crest is a very physical team. If a referee kind of lets them get away with some of the little things that they do, then it's an advantage. That's kind of what happened in that game where Mountain Crest won 2-0. They got a couple of good goals. They're able to be physical and just really knock Green Canyon off their game. But obviously Green Canyon, they've won one of the games 4-1. That is a dominant win. So honestly, if you ask me like who I think is going to win, I couldn't tell you. Because, between Region 11 teams especially, they've been so balanced and so able to just, one might beat the other in any given night. So it's just going to come down to who's playing the best soccer. And, thankfully both of these teams are playing their best soccer right now. 5 and 6 seed making their way to the championship game. And I think it'll be an exciting game.
Definitely not chalk. For
no,
this.
I don't know if I've ever seen this kind of seeding in a championship. We've seen, lower seeds or higher seeds, whatever you want to say, make it to a title game, but to have 2 teams completely throw off the chalk like this and have a 5 and a 6 seed in a championship game. I don't know if I've seen that. I've not been doing this very long, but I've been doing it for at least a little bit, and I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's we wondered, like, when we get to the playoffs for these spring sports, how would it the way that the spring played out up here in northern Utah, how would that potentially negatively affect some of these teams in their ability to have some success in the postseason? And so far for soccer, it not enough. Not that bad of a detriment, because these teams are finding ways to win, and we've got 2 from Northern Utah in the championship game.
Yeah, I think RPI just super underrated Region 11, and maybe that's because of, maybe that had something to do with whether or not being able to play as many games. I mean, Region 11 has been good in soccer in both girls and boys. Maybe a little more in girls, but still they've been pretty good at boys soccer, and I think you're seeing that playing out. Sure, they may not have the record. I mean, Mountain Crest, if I recall correctly, I think they only had like 2 or 3 goals in all of non-region play. And then in region play, they ended up having, a nice positive goal differential, something like 20-16 or something like that. But they really turned things around in region play, and maybe it just took them that long to get things going. Because, I mean, right now, they beat the 2 seed, they beat the 3 seed, and they won their first round matchup, but I think it was like the 6-13 or something like that. I don't know if they played the last seed or the second to last seed. So they're like the epitome of playing their best, soccer at the end of the season, where at the beginning of the season you would have thought this team might finish last in Region 11.
Yeah,
but
the
here
road
they are.
in different
they're
places.
in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, winning a game in Southern Utah, winning a game as an underseeded team down in Harriman today. So, but how would you describe the contrasting styles, or are there similarities between the 2 teams now that you've seen them both play in one day?
I think, as I said, Mountain Crest a little bit more physical. They do have some similarities, and, of course, this is something that happens a lot in high school soccer, both girls and boys, where they tend to just, they back pass to their center backs and then they just blast the ball forward, trying to find, just have their forwards chase after it. Green Canyon's a little more likely to play it up through their midfield, whereas Mountain Crest, that ball's not spending too much time in their midfield. They're moving it up quickly. They're just clearing it forward, keep that ball out of their defensive half, and just keep it moving forward. Move into the counterattack, move it in fast. Green Canyon, they do that some, but they're a little more willing to build up. But the other thing is both these teams have good defenses. I've watched both of these teams play multiple times, and they don't allow that many chances. They have good center backs, good defenses, and then they've both got some talented guys at the top of their formation. Mountain Crest got Sam Hunt up there. He's able to chase balls down. Braden Jensen for Green Canyon. They've got some guys that can go down there and make plays and make things happen.
Yeah, because as I'm looking at the history of both schools here, just over there, how many goals that they've scored, how much they've allowed. This is a Green Canyon school that appears to score quite a bit. They do a good job of limiting opponents getting the ball into the net. But Mountain Crest, kind of an even team, not really a big difference. And I think maybe like you said, this kind of a change that's happened with this team once they've got into region play. So this will be really interesting to see what happens, how it plays out. And I'm excited for you to be able to go call a game down there in that stadium.
Yeah, it'll be a first for me. I was kind of hoping maybe one of these teams would manage to win. And heck, I got both of them. So, check box for both. So I'll be able to have an all-Region 11 call down there, and obviously being able to call a game in America First. I'm never going to get used to calling it America First, or it's going to be like 5 or 6 years. I'll probably still be calling it Rio Tinto.
It's just like the Delta Center. You just keep calling it the Delta Center. The Delta Center. Eventually, it'll come back to that.
Yeah, eventually we might get Rio Tinto back. But yeah, I've obviously been to the stadium quite a few times. I usually go once or twice a year to go watch Real Salt Lake play, but it also won't be the first time I've seen a high school championship game there. When I was actually in high school, went and saw Davis High win a championship on that field, my old alma mater. So be able to watch one of these two teams go down there and hoist the gold trophy, I guess we'll just have to wait and see who it is, because I tell you, with how hectic boys soccer has been, there's no way I could predict who on earth is going to come away with it.
Well, no matter what, the state champion will be in Region 11, and the runner-up will be in Region 11. So it'll be an exciting game. Pre-game, about 6:50, 6:45 for your broadcast tomorrow?
Depends on how many technical difficulties I run into. We had some minor technical difficulties. We managed to power through them, get the games on. So I imagine it'll be about 10, 15 minutes before game time. We'll get the stream up and we'll get some pregame going.
Nice. Excellent. Well, drive safe on your way back to Cache Valley after calling a couple of exciting games today for Region 11, and more to do tomorrow as Green Canyon will take on Mountain Crest for the 4A Boys Soccer Championship. We'll have a way to listen to it on CacheValleyDaily.com with a running clock and scoreboard, and a way to listen on 107.7 KLZX. So exciting day and a lot more to come. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate the report and safe travels.
Thank you very much.
All right, quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. We want to come back, again, just a little bit more on that and other things that are taking place. We know that the baseball playoffs getting underway today, softball playoffs getting underway tomorrow. Updates on who's playing where and what that field looks like for those schools and from Region 11. And then we'll get into the All-NBA team that was announced yesterday. And where does Logan rank among cities for who are cities that are good places for basketball? I'll update you on that coming up on the other side of this timeout.
When you think about Mom, what you see is dependable, always there when you need her, understanding, caring, and definitely forgiving. She takes care of the kids, cooks, cleans, grocery shops, clipping the coupons to stretch your dollars further. She is an accountant, chauffeur, a tutor, a counselor, and sometimes a referee. She is a hands-on, micromanaging CEO of the house, who in some cases also has a second job. This Mother's Day, get her something special at Jarek's Fine Jewelry in Logan. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Why wait until next winter to get it fixed? Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Elements Restaurant has something new and exciting to share. If you like barbecue, you're going to love Thursday's Brews and Barbecue at Elements. Mouth-watering smoked brisket, perfectly seasoned and slow-cooked for hours. Your taste buds will say thank you. Try the brisket sandwich served with coleslaw or brisket plate complete with Southwest mac and cheese and coleslaw. Don't miss Brews and Barbecue for lunch or for dinner with live in-house music every Thursday at Elements Restaurant next to Spring Hill Suites on the south end of Logan, or call 750-5171 for reservations.
Hi, this is Jay Broadbent. If you use a CPAP, need a walker or a wheelchair, or just need some assistance around your home, then this announcement's for you. Alpine Home Medical is opening a new store in Tooele. We're planning on opening our doors this summer. Check us out on social media at AlpineHME or alpinehomemedical.com to stay up to date.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Spring is here, which means more driving and future vacations. Make sure you don't forget your car as you move about your busy life. This is Dustin with Valvoline Instant Oil Change in Logan. More driving means more wear and tear for your vehicle. Come in to Valvoline Instant Oil Change to get it serviced. We'll have you in and out quickly, making sure your ride is ready for whatever life brings you. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 695 North Main in Logan, across from Angie's.
You may have heard that Schreiber Foods call their employees partners. Why? Because our partners own the business. You see, Schreiber Foods is the largest dairy company in the world to still be privately owned. And when you own something, you treat it differently. You help others. You care about your team. You don't answer to anyone outside the company or an investor that has no interest in you or the business. So if you're looking for stable employment, ready to be a part of and own something bigger, visit schreiberfoods.com/careers.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen here. Jason Walker on his way back from Harriman, where he called two exciting games earlier today. Green Canyon got things started first with a 2-0 shutout over Dixie, and then Mountain Crest with an upset 3-1 over Crimson Cliffs. They will face each other tomorrow night. Pregame coverage at about 6:45, 6:50. And game start at 7 o'clock. We'll have a way to listen to the game on CashValleyDaily.com. You can watch, have it up, and check on the scoreboard and the clock as Jason's calling the game. We're unable to provide video of the game, but the way for you to listen, and if you're in the Cache Valley area, you can hear the game and hear Jason's call on 107.7 KLZX. And it was exciting earlier today, and this is what it sounded like to get things started for Green Canyon as getting their first goal on the board and to go into strike first in their game earlier today.
Now Green Canyon again in the attacking half, trying to play across in. Knight trying to get ahead on it. He gets ahead on it. It's a goal. Green Canyon goal, Colby Knight. The Wolves draw for 17 minutes, 30 seconds here in the first half.
Yeah, it was Colby Knight who scored first. An assist from Giovanni Torres in the 23rd minute. And just a few minutes later, able to extend that lead with one more.
Corner played in. A little far, DeLarca gets ahead on it, and ball bounces around, and it's a goal! Braden Jensen headed it in. That ball was pinballing around off the header from DeLarca, and Jensen just happened to be there, heads it in. So it's 2-0 now for Green Canyon.
Now, 2 goals in the span of about 4 minutes, and that was all that they needed. And they were able to hang on and win and advance and end up beating Dixie 2-0. And then just just less than an hour later, Mountain Crest takes the field, taking on Crimson Cliffs. And it was Crimson Cliffs who struck first, but wasn't that much longer after that Mountain Crest was able to equalize and tie the game up on this score from Dallin Anderson.
Mountain Crest levels it up. That ball was deflected around. Referee's actually going to go talk to his assistant. I don't know if this goal is going to stand. I'm not 100% sure what this is going to be like. That ball was deflected around. I didn't see who kicked it. They're going to say it's a goal. They're saying it stands.
So, yeah, if you heard Jason earlier, that was a little bit of confusion that took place there near the end of the first half, but the goal stands. They go to halftime, and just a few minutes after back on the field and switching sides, it was Mountain Crest moving ahead.
I'm going to loft that one in toward goal. It's going to end up being a shot on goal. It goes in. It's misplayed by the keeper. A goal. I don't think that's what he was intending to do, but a misplay there from the goalkeeper, Traden Stringham. Michael Hale gets a goal. He tried to play that one in, and it ends up going right toward the goal line. Keeper there to try and catch it. He just misplayed it. It squirts underneath him and into the back of the net. It's 2-1 for Mountain Crest.
And then the rest of the half, the second half, Crimson Cliffs trying to get back into it. Mountain Crest kind of stacking it in, making it tough. And then things just shift in the desperation in the final moments of the game, and Mountain Crest adds a little bit of insurance.
Crimson Cliffs needs to get something going. Mountain Crest certainly content to just sit around. They get into the box. They've got numbers. Carpenter trying to play towards goal. It goes off the post. Sam Hunt puts it in. 3-1. That's pretty much the game right there. A scramble. Max Carpenter puts it off the post. Sam Hunt for the Poachers' goal. He runs in and puts it in.
So, yeah, Mountain Crest winning that game 3-1. Green Canyon shutting out Dixie 2-0. And these two teams will square off tomorrow. In their previous appearances against each other in late March, on March 21st, it was Green Canyon beating Mountain Crest 4-1. And a few weeks later, on the 13th of April, Mountain Crest flipped the script and they won 2-0 over Green Canyon. So, pretty interesting to see what might happen tomorrow. Could be an exciting 4A Region 11 championship. We love to see those. We've seen several of them. And the hardware is going to be coming to Cache Valley. We just don't know if it's going to be residing in Hiram or North Logan. We'll find out with the play-by-play starting at 7 o'clock. And as we mentioned, those aren't the only playoffs that are going on. The baseball playoffs getting underway this afternoon. And here's who's involved today. So Mountain Crest, they're the number 4 team in 4A, and they're hosting Logan, who's number 13. Ridgeline, who was 6th in the final RPI, they're hosting number 11 Skyview, so that's a Region 11 rematch. It's not the only one. There's another one, but number 7, that's Mountain Crest, Logan, Ridgeline, Skyview. Those are Region 11 rematches. Then number 7, Green Canyon, they get to host number 10 Hurricane, and number 8 Bear River hosts number 9 Pineview. So all Region 11 schools get to stay here in Cache Valley. They don't have to travel anywhere, and have the advantage of having hosting the 3-game series here in Cache Valley, except for Bear River hosting theirs in Tremonton. So it's a best of 3 series. They have a game today, and they have a game tomorrow, and if necessary, game 3 will be later in the day tomorrow. So this first round is a best of 3. Snow Canyon was the number 1 overall team in baseball with a record of 20-5, followed by Crimson Cliffs at 21-3, and Dixie at 17-7, who incidentally had the same RPI overall record as Mountain Crest at 17-7, but Dixie had a slight advantage with their opponent's record, and so they had a little bit higher RPI to get them out of the first round with that first round bye. So whomever wins in these best of 3 bracket play, super regionals that are taking place this week, they will advance to bracket play, which will be at BYU on May 15th and 16th, and then May 17th and 18th is where the championships will take place, and that'll be at Utah Valley University. Well, actually, the way it works is that the bracket play is 2 days at BYU, 2 days at Utah Valley, with the championship at Utah Valley May 19th and 20th, actually. So that's the way that will take place for high school baseball. For softball, their Super Regionals will begin tomorrow. That will take place Friday and Saturday. And the way that's going to work out with our local teams, number 1 Ridgeline and number 2 Bear River, they both earn a first-round bye, and so they don't have to participate. So Skyview will be hosting, they're number 6, and they will host number 11 Dixie. Number 8 Mountain Crest will host number 9 Hurricane. Number 10 Logan, they'll hit the road. They'll travel to number 7 Cedar. And Green Canyon is ranked 12th, and they will travel to Crimson Cliffs, who is ranked number 5. So there, for those schools that advance from Super Regionals, bracket play will take place at the Cottonwood Softball Complex, and championship series, that'll be May 17th and 18th, with the championship series at Gale Miller Field at BYU on May 19th and 20th. So playoffs underway right now for boys soccer. Playoffs getting started for baseball and softball this week. Boys and girls lacrosse regular season is winding down this week, and we'll get the final RPI for lacrosse this weekend, with their playoffs expected to begin next week as high school sports season is winding down. Quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Some news about Utah State basketball. A new coach added to Danny Sprinkle's staff. We'll tell you who he is, what his background is, and where are the best cities for basketball, and where does Logan rank on that list? We'll discuss and debate coming up on the Full Court Press.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress, and while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain to climb. This is Brett Green, president of Cache Valley Bank. To conquer this mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
A diamond is forever and is perfect to represent your love. For those special occasions, give her a natural, one-of-a-kind diamond as unique as she is. Our exclusive brand, Neat and Brilliant Diamonds, is both beautiful and affordable with quarter-carat diamonds starting at $499. We have hundreds of sparkling diamonds at our integrity price guarantee with financing available. An investment for generations to come, Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. May is the best month of the year. Why? May is Maytag month at Daryl's Appliance, and it's our anniversary. We've been in business 53 years. Maytag is known as the industry leader, and now you can save up to 30% off all Maytag major appliances. Plus, buy 3 Maytag appliances and get an additional $200 mail-in rebate, and get Daryl's famous service you can trust. Only at Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Looking for a stable career with great pay, benefits, and a positive work environment? This is Justice Lewis with Homestead Cabinets in Hiram. We produce high-quality, state-of-the-art custom cabinetry and are looking for employees who want to become skilled craftsmen. Work Monday through Friday with weekends off. Wages start at $16 per hour with opportunities for growth as you gain experience. Benefits include daily free breakfast and monthly profit sharing. Homestead is a company that values its employees. They emphasize growth of the individual as well as the company. Go to homesteadcabinet.net/careers and apply today.
Hi, this is Logan River head golf professional Jeff John. It's time once again for our annual Demo Day. Demo Day will be Tuesday, May 16th from 2 to 7 p.m. We'll have all the major vendors on site: Ping, Wilson, TaylorMade, Titleist, Mizuno, and Callaway. Appointments are suggested by calling the golf shop. We will also have walk-ins available for all vendors. We'll have prize giveaways. Come down between 2 and 7 on Tuesday. Test out some new golf clubs. See if you can win a season pass or one of the golf clubs we'll be giving away. Logan River Golf Shop. Play well, play fair, play fast.
It is critical we keep AM radio in all cars and all trucks. Hey, Sean Hannity here. More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio. It is the backbone of the emergency alert system, and that keeps us safe in dangerous times because when cell and internet services are down, AM radio might be your only lifeline. Now text AM to the number 52886. Tell Congress that we need AM radio in our cars. Text AM to 52886 today.
Standard message and data rates apply.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wees T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen with you here. If you want to chime in, love to hear from you. 435-339-0321. A couple exciting games earlier today. Green Canyon 2-0 over Dixie. Mountain Crest 3-1 over Crimson Cliffs. Green Canyon, Mountain Crest will face each other tomorrow. Pregame at 6:45, 6:50, and then tip off or they'll start the game. Not tip off. They will start the game at 7 o'clock, and we'll have full play-by-play with Jason Walker on 107.7 KLZX. Also, options to listen on CacheValleyDaily.com. News of note from Utah State University, the Aggie men's basketball team announcing today that Johnny Hill will be following Danny Sprinkle to Logan. Hill spent the previous season working with Sprinkle at Montana State. and he's going to be coming to Utah State as the director of player development. So he's not necessarily an assistant coach on the coaching staff, so there's still some room there. But Hill has he's been at Montana State. He spent time at Grand Canyon. He started his coaching career as an assistant at the University of Northwestern Ohio. As a player, he played at Illinois State, went to Texas Arlington, and then finished his career at Purdue and started 11 games for that team. And so and helped get that team as a 5 seed to the NCAA tournament that year. So Johnny Hill joining Danny Sprinkle in Logan as the director of player development. So anyway, that's some news of note today. Other things that happened yesterday, the NBA announced its all-NBA teams. And this last season, Lauri Markkanen, he was an all-star. He made the all-star game. In fact, he became an all-star starter, but that's apparently not enough for these voters, and he did not make an all-NBA team. And so that's kind of surprising. Now, Donovan Mitchell did make an all-NBA team for the first time. He made the second team for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Rudy Gobert did not make any of these teams. There's 3 teams that are released. On the first team, there was 2 forwards, 1 center, 2 guards, and it's pretty much the format that they will follow for each team. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, he was a unanimous selection, the only unanimous selection, and he had 100 first-team votes, and that's his 7th All-NBA team selection. Jason Tatum from Boston, Joel Embiid, that was the first time that he's been on a first team. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Oklahoma City and Luka Doncic round out the first team from the NBA. Second team, besides Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Jaylen Brown. And then on the All-NBA third team, it was Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, Damian Lillard, Julius Randle, and LeBron James. So, again, it's you have to be mindful of the position that they play and how they rank here. But it's kind of interesting. You see a couple of these players get their very first opportunity to make an All-NBA team. And some of these players got some recognition as a first-team guy. Some of those just third team. But, LeBron James got 16 second-team votes, 33 third-team votes. But Jason Tatum, nobody put him on the third team. And Joel Embiid, nobody gave him third-team votes. But unfortunately, no Lauri Markkanen. And when you look at this list, you got to wonder, who would he replace? Would he replace Julius Randle? Would he replace LeBron James? Because I don't think you can have him replace Jaylen Brown or Jimmy Butler as other forwards in the second team, or even Giannis or Jason Tatum on the first team. So it's a very limited number of spots. And I know there's been a lot of debate. Should we just make it positionless and just the top 5 players are on the first team and the next 5 are on the second team, and then the third 5 make it on the All-NBA third team? So maybe. I know NBA is definitely positions have morphed, not quite as important as they used to, but that's how it is right now, and that's how the votes were tallied from 100 people who got to submit their ballots from all over the world, really, who follow the NBA. A couple texts coming in, 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. 9315, having not heard Jason call a game before, but he sounds amazing. And how many coaches' spots are left to fill on the Sprinkle and Co. team? So Jason's been calling some soccer for us. He's called a couple soccer games before, and certainly we've been doing more of that this year. And he really enjoys soccer. He knows the sport, so it's exciting to have somebody on a call who knows the sport and gets excited about it at the appropriate times. So Jason was having a good time today, calling some fun soccer for our local teams, and you'll get to hear more of that tomorrow night. And then as far as spots left to fill for the coaching staff, as far as I understand, there's just one spot left for Coach Sprinkle to fill out his bench. So most of the guys are here. You got a player development guy now, but I think he still has one more assistant to fill. His roster is done, but these kids players just had the end of the semester just not that long ago, and then they get to reconvene in early June, as far as I recall. Start doing some things with the weight room, working on some individual skills, players working out on their own together, and then this coaching staff starts to work with these players a little bit more, and we'll have some updates from Coach Sprinkle before too long about what that staff looks like and what his team is looking like now that they've come together. So we'll make sure we reach out and have him on again here before too long to give us an update on what that was like, trying to put that roster together for him and his staff. Another timeout here in the Full Court Press. Still time for you to weigh in if you'd like. 435-339-0321. Did Lauri Markkanen get robbed by not making it to the All-NBA team? But if you were to put him on, you have to take someone off. Who would you replace? Like Kevin Durant did not make the All-NBA team. Should he have been on there? Now, I think that's tied to games played and availability. And so, but Lauri Markkanen was a starter in the Western Conference. If he's going to be an All-NBA guy, who would he replace? 435-339-0321. And then a recent study ranked cities across America for their support and how exciting things are, or how expensive it is, or how accessible it is to get to a basketball game, whether that's NBA or college. And so where do some cities in Utah rank on this list? And what about other cities throughout the Mountain West Conference? We'll update you on that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Spring will get here, and when it does, those old rusted-out vehicles need to be moved. Call DD Auto and Salvage and let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is locally owned and operated inside the beautiful new Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. Expect the most cutting-edge techniques, qualified doctors, and friendly staff to ensure the highest quality patient care. The ENT providers have extensive training to properly treat ear, nose, and throat conditions for adults and children. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho, accepting most insurance products, including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
Forget the weather this summer with York Home Comfort Systems. Now's your chance to get local rebates, financing options, and industry-leading manufacturer-backed warranties on your new home comfort system. Plus, you can get up to $2,000 in tax credits with IRA 25C federal tax credit. Installing a York Home Comfort System's even more affordable. Maximize your savings and forget the weather this summer. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning Showroom is west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
It's finally starting to feel like spring, so let Prodigy Brewing spring a delicious experience of flavor and fun into your world. Enjoy Cache Valley's juiciest burgers, tastiest nachos, flavor-filled wood-fired pizzas, and specialty craft brews. And did you know Prodigy Brewing offers an amazing brunch menu every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.? Whether it's lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch, let Prodigy Brewing spring you into deliciousness. Book now for upcoming graduation parties. Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars, Because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Nate Lamson with Valley Office Systems, your home team when local matters. Valley Office Systems is your local provider for all things office, copiers, printers, furniture, and document management. Proudly serving Cache Valley since 2007. Visit valleyofficesystems.com.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Chevron Delo 15W40, Napa Premium 15W40. It's these diesel oils that are on sale, the lowest price of the year at Napa Auto Parts, and you won't beat their price anywhere. And no limit on how much you can buy, but once it's sold out, it's over. It's sold out. So go check it out. Cash or credit, in-store only. It's at Napa Auto Parts, 5 locations between Preston and Providence. So this organization called Wallet Hub, and they do a lot of weird surveys and data crunching. And one they just released was, we're the best cities for basketball fans. And it looked at data for NBA and college basketball, accessibility, price of tickets, level of success over a period of time. They had a variety of different factors that they looked at. So it's not just somebody's opinion. I mean, there's pretty interesting data sets that they look at. And Salt Lake City was ranked number 5 overall. When you look at NBA, college, the whole package, Salt Lake City was ranked number 5 overall in the country. And it was number 3 in the best performing NBA city. It was number 1 in accessible NBA team, and tied for first for the most engaged NBA fans. So Salt Lake City did well in several different categories. And you can also look at it from just large cities versus mid-size versus small. And Salt Lake was number 1 for as far as mid-sized cities throughout the NBA. But what about college basketball, and what about Logan specifically? So Salt Lake for college basketball was 75th overall, and there's almost 300 cities that were ranked on this list. Logan came in at 176, so a little below half of middle of the pack. So they're 176 overall, but among that's the whole everything NBA and everything else at it. When you look at specifically for NCAA cities, they're at 164, so slightly higher. But when you look at it even further among smaller cities of a similar size, Logan was ranked 92nd. So kind of interesting data there. But what about other Mountain West schools? Like, what's the best school in the Mountain West when you look at specifically the NCAA among their peers? So the highest rated Mountain West city, host city, is San Diego. That makes sense to me. They're ranked 84th. A little surprised at where they landed on the ranking scale. They're ranked 84th. Boise was at 105. A couple other schools of note. Fort Collins, Colorado at 131. And Reno at 206. Albuquerque at 239. Colorado Springs at 248. San Jose at 285. So not a lot of love for San Jose. Colorado Springs, they came in with the 5th overall least engaged fans, and San Jose was the 3rd least engaged fans in college basketball. So kind of interesting the way that came out. But what about other cities throughout the state of Utah? As we already mentioned, Salt Lake City, 75th for college basketball. Provo at 36. Ogden at 115. Cedar City at 116. Orem at 197. And St. George at 233. So I'm really shocked to see Ogden and Cedar City that far ahead of Logan, Utah. When you consider years of success and the fan engagement it's pretty high and pretty exciting. But it's interesting that Ogden and Cedar City both ranked that much farther ahead of Logan. So kind of surprising with this list from Wallet Hub. Pocatello, just up the road a ways, they came in at 292, home of Idaho State. As we already mentioned, Boise at 105, Moscow, Idaho at 271, looking at our neighbors to the north. So interesting data here, ranking these different Mountain West schools. Some coming in decent numbers, but several of them at the very bottom of the list. Kind of embarrassing rankings for some of these communities and how well their fans are behind them and how accessible and successful their teams are in the Mountain West compared with their peers. So things to work on for sure. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for Jason Walker checking in with us as well. Reminder, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Green Canyon versus Mountain Crest for the 4A Boys Soccer Championship on 107.7 KLZX.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. In the NBA, teams are always looking to upgrade their rosters with another star. But if we've learned anything about this year's playoffs, it's pursuing an upgrade isn't always beneficial. Just look at the Heat and the Knicks. Jimmy Butler, six-time All-Star, has become a yearly sensation come playoff time. But he was run out of town in Minnesota and Philadelphia after both organizations decided to pursue other stars. Jalen Brunson faced a similar situation this offseason. He was the point guard to help the Mavs to the Western Conference Finals last season, but Dallas wanted to pair Luka Doncic with a more respected star. That led the Mavs to allow Brunson to walk in free agency. Dallas went on to miss the playoffs. Brunson just dropped 38 at the Garden to keep the Knicks' playoff hopes alive. So although you never want to get complacent while building a contender, this year has been a friendly reminder that when it comes to building a roster, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.